welcome to 5 Minutes with Bryce, Jade, and Saren. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Our theme tonight is on the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War started in 1954. The war was started over the spread of communism. The U.S. wanted to stop the domino theory from happening, which was the spread of communism through Southeast Asia. We now go to Jade out in Vietnam.
Hello, this is Jade reporting live from Hue, Vietnam, 1 year from the end of the Vietnam War. Now, as you see beside me, it's barren land that was once filled with lots of vegetation. The reason for this decrease is the chemical Agent Orange. Agent Orange was dropped by the U.S. to kill dense forests on the trail and increase visibility from the air. American veterans and Vietnamese civilians later suffered serious health problems from exposure to this chemical. Here's Sam with a report on the Viet Cong trenches.
Viet Cong had many advantages to knowing the terrain of Vietnam. They dug large trenches and systems of tunnels. One system was located 47 miles north of Saigon. Here we are today to tell you about the dangers inside the tunnels. There were many traps and very many dangers inside of the tunnels. As you can see behind me, we have one beginning of the system of tunnels. Bryce with more on Vietnam.
Thank you, Jade and Saren, for those very informative reports in Vietnam. The war was being fought in Southeast Asia against the North Vietnam versus the South Vietnam, the Viet Cong versus the United States, and the communists and the non-communists versus each other. The Monroe Doctrine, made during this time, helped to stop the spread of communism. The Marshall Plan gave aid to the European countries. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Richard Nixon were all presidents during the Vietnam War. They were all committed to stopping the spread of communism. The Gulf of Tonkin Resolution gave the president the power to take all necessary steps, including the use of armed force, to prevent further attacks. The country that we supported after they were defeated at the Dien Bien Phu was France. Also during the time, there were people that were considered hippies. They were counterculture, experimented with drugs, fashion, and music, and impacted policies in the United States. Stay tuned for a better timeline of the Vietnam War. Now a word from our sponsors.
It's a hat. It's a bowl. Have you ever been walking down the street wanting the cereal that people are dropping to? Well, today you can. With the bowl you can catch all the cereal that people drop to you. It's a bowl. It's a hat. It's a bowl. Buy one today. Only $99.99. Please order online. Thank you. Bowl only $99.99. Order on bowl.com.
Welcome back to my commercial break. Today we're going to be going over the Vietnam War timeline. In 1960, Cuba and the Soviet Union traded an agreement and established diplomatic relations. In 1961, Kennedy sends military advisors to Vietnam. In 1965, North Vietnamese leader Ho Chi Minh refuses peace talks with the President Lyndon B. Johnson. In 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy are assassinated. In 1969, Joan Baez, The Who, and Jimi Hendrix headlined in the Woodstock Music Festival. In 1973, last U.S. troops leave Vietnam. In 1975, North Vietnamese troops capture Saigon. And also in 1969, Ho Chi Minh dies. Now, over to Saren with the main events.
In the Vietnam War. Bay of Pigs invasion. Kennedy tried an invasion to Cuba with 1,500 Cuban exiles. 300 were killed and the rest were captured. The Berlin Wall. Soviets ordered the border that separated East and West Berlin to be closed so people could not leave. The Cuban Missile Crisis. In October 1962,
U-2 spy planes found that the Soviets were installing nuclear missiles in Cuba that could destroy cities. Kennedy demanded the missiles to be removed.
To our commercial break.
What's wrong, Wyatt?
It's this Band-Aid. It doesn't come off.
What kind of Band-Aid is that?
It's an Everlast aid.
It's the Band-Aid that never comes off.
God
Buy it today in the stores. Band-Aid products is not liable for any dangers or permanency to the body. Please buy. Thank you for joining us tonight on 5 Minutes. Next week, we are going over a different war. Have a nice night.